Wyatt Vincent to the plate here, leading off things for the Eagles like usual. First pitch from Wallace, and he swung on ground to third base. Off to get third baseman's chest. Here's the throw to first base, not in time. And that's going to be an infield single for Wyatt Vincent.
They're going to call that one an error, but one of the things that was right to him, and kind of situations like that, you know, before you even have enough time to say Wyatt Vincent tends to swing at that first pitch, he sends one, and that one was hot down the third base side. Third baseman just wasn't able to come up with it and make a clean catch off his chest there, and so Vincent with the speed is able to get to first base there.
That one swung on down the third base line as well. Like it's past third baseman, right? Vincent heading to third, Rylan Michelle heading to second, and that's a stand-up double for Rylan Michelle. And there's two runners in scoring position here for the Eagles with 0 outs. Now Caden Cloud comes to the plate with 2 runners on scoring position, looking to give the Eagles an early lead here. So both Eagles on runner down at third base. Vincent reached on error after the ball went right off the third baseman's chest. And Rylan Michelle got it past the third baseman for a stand-up double.
And win that one.
They'll take on Republic, who beat Carthage 10-0 earlier today. And we will play the winner. We'll play the winner of Ozark. All right, we'll play the winner of Ozark in that game. We'll get you to it in a second. But runners on second and third. Cloud at the plate. He swings left to left field. That's in a drop for the left fielder. Wyatt Vincent coming home. So is Rylan Michelle. No, he gets a stop sign. Scurries back to third base. Now there's runners in the corner. But Nixa scores 1. It's a 1-0 Nixa lead.
Already 3 pitches in here. The Eagles are able to attack and show it well. They're going to play the winner of Ozark and Joplin should they hold on, but early with a 1-0 lead, it's looking pretty good here. 3 base runners reaching on 3 pitches.
So runners on the corners, Michelle at third, Cloud at first. Jack Edwards, cleanup hitter, the man behind the dish at the plate.
And you have to think that Edwards is going to try to attack as well here.
Here's the pitch from Wallace. That's the first pitch taken by an Eagle today, and it's going to be a ball 1. So 1 ball, 0 strikes, 0 outs. Runners on first and third. Edwards at the plate. Here's the pitch. Swung on, fouled back. Count evens at 1-1.
Aiden Wallace, the pitcher here for the Bulldogs, is a lefty, and that kind of gives a little bit more advantage to that first base. Have a run here on the board. They hold a 1-0 lead over the Central Bulldogs, and they have runners at the corners with nobody out.
So Wallace gets the sign from Gonzalez.
And they're going to try to pick him off.
And goes, and this is a little situation. Cloud safe at second. Rylan Michelle commits, but he drops the ball. So he will be safe at home plate. It will be a 2-0 Nixa lead as Caden Cloud gets in the pitcher's head. The pitcher gets the catcher in time. The catcher drops the ball on the tag. So Rylan Michelle will be safe at home plate. Caden Cloud will be safe at second base. Now there's a runner on second. 2-0 Nixa lead. Jack Edwards still at the plate. It's a 2-1 count.
That's just based on the 2 errors. They had Rylan Michelle there dead to rights. Cloud is able to advance to second base there. And once again, the Eagles taking advantage of different errors that they've seen so far. And that
one's inside for strike number 2. We said it in unison. So 2-2 count. Cloud at second base. Looks a little gassed after that encounter, but
they had Michelle dead to rights, and catcher just wasn't able to hold on to it.
That one swung on lifted left field. That's going to drop as well. Caden Cloud rounding third. Nimmo gives him the go sign, and Jack Edwards going to stay at first, throws way off, and that's going to be the 3rd run for the Eagles just in the bottom of the 1st inning. And now it's 3-0 Nixa on 3 hits and 2 errors from the Central Bulldogs. And now brings up Reese Dernberger in the 5 holes. You get a courtesy run for Jack Edwards. Josiah Jenkins like usual. So now there's 1 runner on, 0 out, and a 3-0 lead for the Nixa Eagles.
And they already used their manager visit here in this inning, so really just trying to get through No action so far in that bullpen. I wouldn't expect any here, but Eagles have been able to take a 3-0 lead off their first 5 hitters, and Reese Sternberger will get a chance here. He's the right fielder today, batting from the right side as well.
So runner on first base. That's Josiah Jenkins, courtesy running for Jack Edwards after a single. That ball is low, 1-0 count.
Their outfield is playing, the center fielder is playing a lot more deep than what Wyatt Vincent was in that first inning. So probably expecting Reese here to hit one straight away as the runner goes. Josiah.
But the catcher dropped it, so Josiah Jenkins will successfully steal a base. Now we've a runner in scoring position with 0 outs on a 2-0 count.
Kind of been a rough day so far for their catcher. John Gonzalez Juarez just having a tough time behind the plate here tonight. He's had a couple sneak past him, and always that dropped is that one.
2-0 pitch inside. Some wear at chance come from the Nixa dugout. So it's a 3-0 count here. Josiah Jenkins on second base. Reese Sternberger at the plate. 0 outs. Here's the pitch. It's a first strike to Reese Sternberger. Now it's 3-1.
That 2-0 pitch was really, really inside. Sternberger had to jump out of the way, and then on that 3-0, they send him a high one outside. They're able to get that strike call, but just one of the things you'll keep in mind here is they're going to try to mix and match here.
That one swung on and lifted down third base line. That's going to get through. That's not going to score Josiah Jenkins. They're going to hold him at third. Now there's runners in the corners for Tanner Grant. Tanner Grant leads the team in home runs this year. Got quite the power on him. Looking to drive in some runs here. So Nixa leads 3-0 here in the home half of the first inning. Reese Sternberger sits at first base. Josiah Jenkins 90 feet away at third. Aiden Wallace gets the sign from Gonzalez, gets set. Here's the dish to Grant. Swung on foul back, 0-1 count.
Just got a piece of that one. It was a pitch that he probably could have done something with. He kind of shakes his head in a little bit of a disappointment there, but he just got under it and was able to foul it back, though. So that kind of shows you that he's on point. It's just kind of the timing here. And with it being such a kind of strange field, 330 left to right, and then 375 in the corner. It's probably about 400 straight away.
Runner goes. Catcher does not attempt to throw. Now there's runners at second and third with a 1-1 count.
So Reese able to get himself a stolen base there. And keep in mind, with all the kind of weird things we've seen so far in this game, the Eagles already have 2 stolen bases. And that's something that you can kind of keep in mind here. They've had games where they'll have 5 or 6, 7 of them. And they'll have some where they don't really get much else on the base paths. But here in the first inning, they're definitely making their mark with the base running skills.
So that pitch to Tanner Grant was outside for ball number 2. So it's 2 balls, 1 strike, 0 outs, runners on second and third. That's Sternberger and Jenkins. Tanner Grant at the plate. Nate Huber sits on deck, waiting for his opportunity at the plate. Aiden Wallace gets set. Here's the pitch. Swung on, foul down the third base line. We're going to do a 2-2.
For Wallace here, it's just trying to grab a little bit more confidence. You know, with Ethan Taylor on the mound for this Eagles team, that kind of feels a little bit bleak for the most part if you're a Bulldogs fan. But one of the things here is if Wallace can just, you know, try to just get out of this inning and at least get 1 out here, that definitely builds a confidence for a pitcher. We'll see if he can do it here.
2-2. Swung on, lifted back. We're going to do it again.
Nice little barehanded catch by the photographer over there. Makes a nice little catch off the bounce.
You know what's intriguing to me is the difference between the dugout size between Central and Nixa. There's not room on the pole for the Eagles, but on the Bulldogs side, there's about 4 players there. So that one's outside. It's going to be a full count here. Like I mentioned, runners on second and third. Sternberger at second base. Josiah Jenkins at third. Tanner Grant at the plate. Nate Huber sits on deck. Aiden Wallace, the pitcher from the Bulldogs. He's given up 3 so far this inning. He gets set. Here's the pitch. Swung on, lifted to deep left field. That ball is flying. That ball is gone. Tanner Grant, 3-run home run. We had just mentioned how he has the power for the deep ball, leads the team in home runs, and he has another one to that one, and it's a 6-0 lead for the Nixa Eagles here in round 1 of the Class 6 District 6 Championship.
Errors can hurt you, and while they've had 2 errors here for the Bulldogs, definitely they'll want a couple of those back, but Tanner Grant says the train keeps on moving. The first 6 batters for the Eagles reach base, and while there's no action in the bullpen here, 6 runs for the Eagles definitely spell trouble for those Bulldogs if they're going to do anything against Ethan Taylor and the Nixa offense.
That one was actually gone. I had to pause. If you were watching the Nixa versus Glendale game, I had a little oopsie. I thought the ball was gone, and it wasn't. Very similar place to where that ball was. And, yeah, that ball was handled by Tanner Grant. So bases are cleared now after that 3-run shot from the first baseman. 6-0, and I don't know what the time's about.
Looks like something's up with the catcher over there. He's going to maybe try to get himself a new glove or something. Or no, he's a bit dehydrated, it looks like, so he's getting some water here.
So Nate Huber at the plate with the bases cleared. 6-0's the score here in the bottom of the first. Huber steps into the box. Aiden Wallace on the mound, sorry.
If you follow high school baseball, you know that...
One swung on foul back, 0-1.
You know that we kind of have a mercy rule set up, so after 5 innings, if a team's up by 10 runs, the game ends. But if Nixa is able to put up 15 or more runs against the Bulldogs, then this game's over before then. But we'll at least play 5, but 6-0 here definitely is a good start.
That one swung on, lifted the third baseman. He makes the catch. Actually, was lifted to the shortstop, but the third baseman came in and snagged it. 5 innings. We could also play 3. It's 15 after 3 as well. I don't think there's anything else before that. I think we have to play at least a max amount of 3 innings. So Broden Mabes at the plate here with 1 out. 6-0 Nixa Eagles lead. Here's the pitch.
The Eagles are guaranteed to bat around here. They got their 8-hitter up here with 1 out and nobody on base, but just one of the things is if they're going to keep this up here, they just got to keep putting pressure. Even though it's a 6-0 lead, they got to keep putting pressure against Aiden Wallace because he's probably going to be pitching for a while here.
That one swung on, lifted to center field. That ball's going to drop. Broden Mabe is going to get the stop sign at first base, but the center fielder kicks it, so he's heading to second. Here's a throw, not in time, and that's a single for Broden Mabe that advanced to a double after an error. Now that brings up the 9-hole Colin Usry.
This fielding for the Central Bulldogs has definitely been very undisciplined here. It's led to extra things from the first pitch of this game when Wyatt was able to reach on an error to the catcher just unable to get that out at the plate, and then the center fielder there not able to get to that one. But, you know, the Bulldogs here down in a 6-0 hole are going to really have to work on that if they're even going to want to have a chance in this one, especially against, like we mentioned, Ethan Taylor on the mound for the Eagles. He's been one of the best pitchers for the Eagles. There's only been a few times where he hasn't, or he's even given up 3 or more runs, so the idea of a 6-run first inning and a 6-run lead definitely is helpful.
That one swung on foul back, 0-2 count. And when you're on the opposing team and you see Ethan Taylor on the mound game 1, you're like, what other players are on their pitching rotation to have him pitching first game? Because that he is a ridiculously good pitcher. And to have him as a day 1 pitcher, just imagine, like you, Colin Kelly and Jackson Gamble, we've seen them, but they haven't. And it's probably just eye-opening to them because Ethan Taylor is a really, really good pitcher. So to see him in round 1, it really shows how much talent this Nixa Eagles pitching staff has. So it's 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runner on second base. Nixa leads 6-0. Here's the pitch to Ussery. Swung on, lifted, right field. Hart coming in, but second baseman Elzenrat makes the catch instead. So now there's 2 outs, and that brings us to the top of the order. Wyatt Vincent.
He was able to reach on that first error of the inning. Victor Everidge just couldn't keep himself in front of that baseball. It kind of bobbled around a little bit, and with Vincent's speed, you can't give the Eagles anything here. The Eagles have had a lot of different, they have a lot of speed threats on this team, and one of those kind of instances is if you make a split-second decision and it ends up being the wrong one, the Nixa Eagles will make you pay.
That pitch to Vincent's outside corner for strike number 1. Broden Mabe sits at second base after a single that turned into a double.
Just kind of an observation. A lot more Eagles fans here than Bulldogs fans, as that one gets away from Gonzalez, the catcher, and that's able to advance Broden Mabe to third base. Catching not one of the biggest, best things here for the Bulldogs, but they're going to try to work on that here. Because, as you mentioned, a good catcher that can keep the ball in front of him and limit mistakes. I mean, with 2 outs here in this inning, the Eagles have kind of gone cold a little bit after Tanner Grant's 3-run home run, but they've got another runner in scoring position, and Wyatt Vincent has another chance here in the first inning.
Here's the pitch to him. Outside, it's a 2-1 count now.
For the Eagles, just don't let up on the gas here. You've got to feel like this game is going to be a good one. It's the playoffs, so anything can happen here, but just trying to keep that in mind and never let the gas hit that metal.
Outside corner, strike number 2, and 2s are hot. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Broden Mabe at third base. Wyatt Vincent at the plate. He's back up here in the first inning after we batted around. Here's the pitch to him. Swung on, grounded to the shortstop, Cannon. Here's the throw to first base. In time for out number 3. So Nixa scores 6 here in the home half of the first inning. Tanner Grant 3-run bomb is the highlight of the inning. We're going to head to the top of the second. 6-0 is the score. Class 6 District Chicks, round 1. Zach Cannon, the shortstop, will lead off here for the Central Bulldogs. 6-0 is the score. Nixa leads after a 6-run first inning from them. First pitch to Cannon to ball, 1-0 count. Here's the pitch from Taylor inside, 2-0. And if the Eagles can score a 15 or something like that in this game short, it helps their pitching staff a lot because you just limited Taylor to so many pitches. You got your team out of the game quickly, so you're well rested for the next game. Pitching staff is looking way healthier than probably any other team in the tournament at the moment. And that one's a strike. Now it's a 3-1 count. Taylor gets set. Here's the pitch, inside, ball 4. So now there's 1 runner on. That's the first walk from Taylor this game. First walk on balls. He did hit by someone in last inning. So now it's a 1 runner on situation here for the Central Bulldogs.
Bulldogs are going to get any momentum going. They're going to have to score that run from first base. And one thing from Ethan Taylor, as we saw there, he's able to get the strike call on the outside corner. That outside corner is going to be really important to him in this game. And making the Bulldogs kind of chase on that outside portion of the plate is going to make a big difference, especially when you have an infield that's playing in like they are right now. They're waiting for kind of just that opportunity as they throw the pick off, but nothing doing over on that first base side. But, you know, if you get them on the outside with a swinging, you know, just weak contact, and that's something that Ethan Taylor's been able to create, is just weak contact all year, as that's another, they pitch him out there. It was a high pitch, but good job by Jack Edwards to keep that ball in his glove, and now it's a 1-1 count now for the center fielder, Holland.
1-1, here's the pitch. Outside corner, like you mentioned, strike number 2.
Central's probably going to have to get at least 2 runners on base here for them to feel like they can get back into this game. And kind of notice when things is Taylor thinks about throwing over, but decides to hold back onto that one. Cannon has to slide back in, but no throw. Taylor kind of gets a little bit of a shaky, with his confidence when there's extra runners on base, and he feels like he's worried about lots of different things.
The hitter tried to call time on that, but umpire did not grant it, as in Taylor was already about to pitch. So now it's a 2-2 count, as that was a ball no matter what. Here's the pitch. Swung on, strike 3. Ethan Taylor gets his second strikeout here in the top of the second inning for out number 2.
Doing a nice job so far limiting this team. Like we were mentioning, the walk and the hit by pitch, the only base runners so far, and with a pop out and fly out. If Central gets any contact here in this game, it's been weak contact, it's been foul balls. They haven't really been able to put much on the ground, and with them trailing by 6 runs here, as Taylor thinks about throwing again, shows the runner the baseball, but he's able to get back again without a throw, and that might just be kind of a theme, as Taylor's really worried about that runner at first base, Cannon, who probably definitely has some legs there to steal a base here. If they're going to need some runs, they're going to need to score him, especially. Down by 6 here in the second inning.
So 1-0 pitch from Taylor. Outside corner, 1-1. Like you mentioned, the outside corner is definitely the umpire's favorite thing to call today, so that's going to be both pitchers' sweet spot. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. Here at the top of the second inning. Taylor steps off, sends the runner back again. 1-1, here's the pitch. Ball low, 2-1.
Taylor's just trying to find different spots out there. He's able to get that outside pitch, but he's wondering if he can get that low portion of the zone. He wasn't able to get it there, but you might see him go inside again here just to try to find what works.
Outside corner, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1 on. Here's the pitch. Swung on, strike 3. Ethan Taylor gets his 3rd strikeout of the day.
Back-to-back Ks that haven't seemed like Brody Holland or Diego Jimenez have been able to really get much going with back-to-back strikeouts. Nick Thompson, the left fielder who bats from the left side, is going to be looking to get something here, but he plays really inside that baseline. He's almost just right at that line. Pretty close to the diamond as well, but we'll give him the same chance here.
Taylor gets set. Here's the pitch. Outside corner, strike 1.
Even from the opposite side, the outside corner is proving to be a good one here.
Runner goes. Here's a throw from Jack Edwards. Not in time. He is safe. That was really, really close. See if we caught that. Let's take a look at the replay here. Throw down from Edwards. I think he was out.
It's pretty close play. One of the things they had been keeping eyes on Cannon during the last 2 at-bats, thinking about throwing over. He's even got a bigger lead here. Like you mentioned, if they're going to be able to get any momentum, they're going to need to score Cannon, and that's just kind of one of these things here where if they can get a runner in scoring position, they give themselves a chance to at least get 1 run back. With 2 outs and a 2-1 count to Thompson, they're looking to do that here, and Thompson's just trying to get something on the ground as well.
Swung on, strike number 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 runner on second base here at the top of the second inning with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Swung on, strike 3. Ethan Taylor has 4 strikeouts through 2 innings. The Bulldogs leave another runner stranded. That one was in scoring position. And to the bottom of the second inning, Nixa still leads at 6-0. Rylan Michelle, he doubled his last time up. He ended up scoring on a controversial play at the plate. Catcher tagged him, but then dropped the ball. Actually, wasn't controversial, just a interesting play. And that one swung on down left field line. Wow, beautiful hit. That's just perfect. And he's going to get another
left fielder
double.
really struggling with that ball.
Oh, no, he's going
Michelle's
three.
Going to try to get to 3.
Here's the throw.
And the
off his back, and he's going to take some time here. He still gives the celebration in the dugout before acknowledging that he got hit. Calls time to take his gloves off, stuff like that. And he dropped something on his way to third base.
Yeah, if I'm ruling that, I'd say that's probably a double, but then an error by that left fielder. Nick Thompson just couldn't get a hold of that one. That one just ended up a few inches fair. It went all the way down to that corner, probably
beautiful.
Even past to that gated area on that side. It wasn't even on that wall, but he just couldn't get a hold of it and really struggled, and Eagles have a runner at third base here already.
So lefty Aiden Wallace is still in the game here for the Bulldogs. That was a beautiful hit by Rylan Michelle, like I mentioned. So runner on third base, 1-0 count, Caden Cloud at the plate. Here's the pitch to him. Inside, ball 2.
And it's kind of a tough thing, too, for Central. They only have 14 players on their baseball team, so they're a really thin squad. And so that kind of hurts you in these types of situations.
That one's grounded to shortstop Cannon. He's the throw to first in time for out number 1, but that's still an RBI for Caden Cloud, and Nixa leads 7-0.
So they're going to end up giving Rylan Michelle a triple on that play. I kind of thought they'd give him a double plus an error, but they go ahead and give him a triple, and he's able to score. And that's kind of just the difference maker here, is they take a 7-0 lead off of 7 hits. It's really been one of these types of games. Bulldogs have only been able to get 2 base runners, not even with anything going their way, but they're able to make it count here.
Here's the pitch to Jack Edwards. Outside, 1-0. One-0 count, 1 out. Here's the pitch to Edwards. Inside corner, strike 1.
For the Eagles, the last 6 batters of that last inning were able to reach here, so
that one swung on left to left field. That's in a drop in front of the left fielder. Right, Jack Edwards rounding first base. He's going to stay at second, as there's quite the blunder in left field. What do you rule that?
I'm going to say that because that probably would have dropped. He made the wrong decision by sliding, though. I think if he keeps that ball in front of him, I see that if he keeps that ball in front of him, it's probably limited to a single there. It doesn't seem like you're really given errors for different things like that, but the slide is what really made that play an extra base hit. They bring in Josiah Jenkins, number 1 for the Eagles, to be the second base. So Edwards gets on with a double. And so now it'll be Reese Sternberger, who's able to get himself a single and then scored on Tanner Grant's 3-run home run. He's on deck. That one's high for a ball, so it'll be a 1-0 count now. 1 out. As I mentioned, Josiah Jenkins at second base. Eagles hold a 7-0 lead here in the second inning.
So Wallace gets set with a runner on second base with 1 out. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swung on, fouled off, 1-1.
Feel like in some ways he's got to kind of defend himself in different instances. In that first at-bat he saw, he kind of had to jump out of a pitch before he was able to get one to drop. But just kind of one of these things where it seems like Wallace is really liking the inside part of the plate, which is why the Eagles have been able to attack them so far. They're going to give him a new ball here.
Yeah, Wallace is liking the inside of the plate, but he's not liking that ball he has right now. So he has the umpire for a new one. Umpire's checking it on, goes, I don't really see nothing wrong with it. Puts it back in his holder. It's a 1-1 count here for Reese Sternberger.
Kind of an interesting side effect of having an early lead. Looks like Rylan Evans is kind of warming up over on that bullpen side as the runner goes, but it hits him anyways.
So he cannot, I don't think he cannot steal since it hit Reese Sternberger, so they're going to send him back to second base. Reese Sternberger will go to first. So now there's runners on first and second for Tanner Grant with 2 runners on. What happened last time that has? Last time there was 2 runners on for Tanner Grant. He sent it over the shingle side in left field.
He's able to do enough there, but as you're saying, you might need Ethan Taylor later on Friday or even tomorrow, so the idea that, all hands on deck here, so they might, with a 7-0 lead, try to pull him out of the game, limit him to just the 2 innings so that he can potentially come in to a different game here this week for the district tournament.
So runners on first and second. Here's the pitch to Grant. Swung on, grounded to shortstop Cannon. He turns it to...
He stepped off the bag, though, so they're going to put runners at the corners. The first baseman just wasn't on the bag whenever it came over. The throw was a little bit to his left, and
that's Burns on first base. Nice job, Burns.
The righty, he was able to pull himself over. But so now that's going to put runners at the corners here. No run did score. Jenkins moved to third on that, and then Tanner Grant on the fielder's choice gets to first base. Reese Sternberger is out at second base, and now Nate Uber, who's 0 for 1 with a line out, comes up with runners in scoring position and 2 outs.
First pitch to him's outside for ball number 1, so it's a 1-0 count, 2 outs. Runners in the corners like Eli mentioned. Wallace gets a sign from Gonzalez. Still no movement in the Bulldog bullpen. Here's the pitch, and it hit him. So now bases are going to be loaded for Broden Mabe. Nothing... No pitchers talks, nothing. No movement of the bullpen for the Bulldogs. Wallace is still on the mound.
Like I mentioned, they only have 14 players, and with 5 bench bats, you don't necessarily want to bring up a bench bat, but obviously 7-0 bases loaded for Broden Mabe. Some of these instances here, they're just trying to let him kind of group, just get out of this inning and then maybe make a change defensively later on.
That one swung on lift and grounded to Cannon at short.
And
it's
he dropped the ball, and they're going to score 2 on that
drop. That's going to score Tanner Grant, and Huber's going to get the stop sign at third base. That's going to be a 2 RBI error. Josiah Jenkins and Tanner Grant cross on plate. Now it's a 9-0 ball game for the Eagles. Runners on second and third. That was Cannon to the throw to Elsenrat. Just a little to the right of Elsenrat and rolled in the right field. So now there's runners on second and third for Colin Ussery.
Fortunate if the Eagles are wanting to get this game over in 3, but already 4 errors from the Bulldogs, and you talk about that gets them out of an inning. And some of those instances, you're better off just making the throw to first base with 2 outs in an inning.
First pitch to Ussery's low and away. 1-0.
So now the 9-hitter Ussery, who popped out his last at-bat for that second out of the inning, he's looking to make him pay here and extend this lead and really put Central out of this game. And I feel like if they're able to get a 10th run, we won't see Ethan Taylor on the mound in this next inning, as he sends
swung on to center field, and that's going to be caught by the center fielder for out number 3. So Nixa leaves 2 stranded, but they also score 3, and now it's a 9-0 lead here for the Eagles. Heading to the top of the 3rd inning, Nixa leads. John Gonzalez Juarez at the plate here for the Bulldogs. Rylan Evans is taking the mound for the Eagles. He relieved Ethan Taylor of his duties after just 2 innings. Taylor ended with 4 strikeouts, 0 earned runs, and 0 hits.
That's just kind of something to talk about within the district playoffs, as you won't see in a blowout. Pitchers really tend to go all that deep, especially in the first round. Like you're mentioning, kind of odd to see Taylor pitch, but he hadn't pitched in quite some time. The days have been kind of messed up a little bit. So it seemed like they were just trying to get him back in rhythm, and he did really nice. He only had allowed 2 base runners, no hits, and really gave the Eagles a chance here.
So Rylan Evans, first batter, is going to be a hit for the Bulldogs. Now they have 1 runner on with 0 outs.
First hit for the Bulldogs, and really just kind of, it's been a tough game. They're down 9-0. I'll credit Aiden Wallace with 5 earned runs. They've had 4 errors in this game, and so far none of them have been as consequential as the ground ball of 2 outs with the bases loaded that just got by that second baseman, Eisenrat, and that ball ended up in right field of all places. Eagles were able to score 2 runs on that one. And really just kind of as you talk about this, we got more movement kind of going in on that Eagles bullpen side. So really they're just trying to get these arms warmed up and ready to go for what could be a potential matchup against either Ozark or Joplin here tomorrow.
So 2 teams they've already faced this season as they are COC opponents. Ozark, something that they have really heated up. I mean, we saw that shutout from Jackson Gamble against Ozark, but they've heated up. They beat Rockbridge, and they lost a close game to Columbia Hickman. They were there the same weekend that we were, and Rockbridge, beating them is a big deal. And so, yeah, it's a 2-2 count. Runner on first base. Rylan Evans gets set. Here's the pitch. Swung on foul back. We're going to do the 2-2 again.
And even in that Nixa Ozark game, going into the bottom of the 6th inning, the Eagles only held a 1-0 lead. Now they were able to get 5 in that bottom of the 6th inning to kind of just open the game up. And Gamble was able to finish the game, but just kind of one of those things you talk about is Ozark doesn't go down quietly, and you know they've been able to really improve since then. Their pitching staff has really flourished in all sides of it. The starting pitching, the relief pitching, it's been on point. Yeah. And so you're kind of wanting, and especially considering, you know, crosstown rivals, is he thought that was ball 4, but he gets the strikeout there. So Barrett Burns, the leadoff hitter for them, goes down for the 2nd time via the strikeout, that first time looking.
So something to note about the Ozark, like you mentioned, well, we're not guessing anything. Could be Joplin too, but Gamble will be pitching tomorrow, no matter who the team is. So they've already seen him for a full game. He's out, gets a bunt down. Rylan Evans throws to first base in time for out number 2, but they advance runner to second base like they planned on doing. So there's 2 outs here with runner on second, but they saw Gamble for a full game. They know what he has to offer. So if they face Gamble, they've already seen him. They kind of have an upper hand. It's just going to be interesting to see how that plays out with Gamble on the mound. But both teams have to get past their first round matchups, as Nixa is in theirs right now, and they play after. And Ozark plays after, so it's a 9-0 lead here for the Eagles. Runner on second. Here's the pitch from Evans. High, 1-0 count.
And Rowan Hart, the right fielder, up the plate. I didn't necessarily like that bunt attempt by Eisenrat. They need base runners here down 9, and it almost seemed like they're just trying to score a run to say they scored a run in this game. I don't necessarily like that, especially with 1 out in an inning. Yeah, you have 2 outs, as that one's going to be called a strike to even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. But I don't necessarily think that was the smartest thing. You need base runners. Eisenrat out of the 2 spot could be able to get runners on base, and that's what the Bulldogs need here. So just sacrificing an out to advance a runner there, I don't think was the wisest choice for the Bulldogs.
So strike on the outside corner. That proves the count to 1-2 here in the top of the 3rd inning. Nixa leads 9-0 off 8 hits and 4 errors from the Central Bulldogs. Bulldogs only have 1 hit, which came earlier this inning, which that runner's at second base right now. Runner goes. Here's the throw from Edwards. He is hosed. Beautiful throw from Edwards. And runner gets caught stealing for out number 3. Like you said, they need base runners, and they're just throwing them away and giving right to Eagles as they get caught running. So now heading to the home half of the 3rd inning, Nixa leads 9-0. Class 6, District 6, round 1 here at US Ballpark. we're gonna start the bottom of the third inning at the top of the order. I kind of mixed start and top for stop. So Wyatt Vincent at the plate. He swings at the first pitch he sees and fouls it off for strike number 1.
So 0 for 2 in this game with a run scored. He batted twice in that first inning, ended up reaching on an error and then grounding out to end the inning. And he leads off here for the second time in this game in the third inning, which is a bit unique. Kind of one of those things you talk about is Rylan Michelle led off that last inning. You don't really see the two-hitter warming up. They plated 8 in that last inning, and so Vincent gets himself a chance here and grounds that one and drops it through the shortstop and the second baseman for a leadoff single. And so the Eagles get their 10th hit here of the ball game. Sorry, the 9th. They have 9 runs off of 9 hits. Central, no runs off 1 hit, and the 4 costly errors that have really just hampered this team's ability to even make a solid comeback, because really, you know, if you only have 4 runs on the board for the Eagles with the 3-run home run and then just probably some other things, even if you say 5-0 here, I think Central is able to think.
Balk. That's a balk. I thought there was a balk there, but there wasn't. So it's a ball. 1-0 count. Runner on first base. Time. There we go. There's the balk call we were looking for. Vincent will advance to second. Should have came, I think, 1 pitch earlier, but either way, Vincent advanced on a balk, and now Rylan Michelle has a 1-0 count here with 0 outs.
Looks like kind of one of those, it's like you were saying, that first pitch before he threw that one. Seems like kind of weird as that one's inside as well, so it'll be a 2-0. Hughes kind of said something, and Coach Hughes for the Eagles kind of probably said something on that first pitch being a balk, and umpire kind of kept that in mind on that pitch and then called it there, and kind of looked over at Hughes and said, "Not anymore."
That was me. That was all me. He has an earpiece in. Listen to me. Just kidding. That one swung on lifted left field. That ball is hammered. That ball is carrying. That ball is gone. Rylan Michelle, 2-run bomb. That's exact place he hit it again. That's exact place he hit it against Webb City over that shingle side of left field. That's another home run here for the Eagles. That ball was demolished. It hit about the same distance as Tanner Grant did, but that ball just had so much height off the bat. It was ridiculous. So that extends the Eagles' lead at 11-0 here in the bottom of the third inning. Caden Cloud come to the plate, and now we're going to see the manager come out here and probably take the ball from Aiden Wallace. And I feel for Aiden Wallace. This tough Nixa Eagles offense, and especially with a defense that really isn't helping you at all. You've shoved the best you can, and easy ground balls are turned into 2-run errors. So Aiden Wallace, as he's shown good stuff, it's just been right up the Eagles' alley.
Yeah, and the problem, like you said, right up the alley, it's been on that inside alley. Really, the Eagles have been able to benefit of making the inside pitch and pulling it towards themselves, as they're going to keep Wallace in this ball game. But just something to keep in mind here, that inside pitch has not been working, and something that we've kind of noticed is the outside pitch for the Eagles pitching staff has really worked. They've been able to get swings and misses. They've been able to get the calls. They've been able to build themselves here, and Wallace here for the Bulldogs hasn't really moved over to that outside corner yet. And even on the 2 home runs, you know, Tanner Grant and then just Rylan Michelle right there, they were able to take inside pitches or inside middle part of the zone and send it towards their bodies. They were able to move their front foot back, and that's really been the difference maker here, as considering, you know, that put 5 runs on the board, those 2 pitches. And then when you mention a couple of the errors that have been costly here, you know, really just, it's really only been 7 or 8 runs earned, I would say. And even though that's not a great game so far, those mistakes that he just kind of keeps going back to is what causing the Bulldogs to just seem like it's just going to keep getting mounted on them until it seems like the world falls over on them and they can't hold it anymore.
So 11-0 score here in the bottom of the third inning. Caden Cloud at the plate. It's a 1-2 count after that pitch from Wallace. So 11 runs on 10 hits and 4 errors from the Bulldogs team is what's propelled Nixa at 11 runs so far. So that pitch is low for ball 2. 2-2 count.
For the Eagles, and like you mentioned, right over that, those left field signs over on that side, they've been able to really put, you know, that was very similar ending locations for both of those home runs. But One of the things is just kind of extending at bats. We haven't seen a whole lot of 3-2s, but that's because they've been able to really do damage with a 2-2 count. It seems like that pitch right before a 2-2 has really been kind of one of those things that they've been able to get a nice look at, as that one is inside for a ball. Gonzalez didn't like the call there, thought it was strike 3, and someone from the crowd agreed, saying, come on, Blue. But nevertheless, a walk here for Caden Cloud. That brings up Jack Edwards. 2 for 2 on the night. He's got himself an RBI single and a double. I don't think Edwards would be able to stretch out a triple, but if he could do that, he's a homer from away from the cycle, and we've seen the power from Jack Edwards as well.
That one swung on up the right field. Right fielder Hart getting under it, makes the catch for out number 1. Throw to first base, but Caden Cloud scurries back in time. So that brings up Reese Sternberger with a runner on, 1 out. Reese Sternberger just released an album. If you don't know, he loves making music. He just released like an 18-song album. I was listening to that on my way here. If you're under the age of 18, if you're under the age of 15, I probably would not listen to it. But anyways, there's 1 out here. Reese Sternberger at the plate. 1 runner on.
Some professional athletes are music artists as well. Damian Lillard, he's a basketball player for the Trailblazers. There's a lot of basketball players that kind of have their albums set up.
Unless you want to go the Justin Tucker route where he sings opera. And that gets past the catcher, and that advances Caden Cloud to second base here. It's a 1-1 count with 1 out for Reese Sternberger.
Catcher just didn't think it went past him and kind of just stood up and realized, oh, wait, I don't have the ball. And it didn't go that far, but that kind of delayed response was what it was able to get Cloud from first to second there.
So runner on second, 1-1 pitch. Swung on strike 2, and I think, after, like you were saying, after that first pitch inside that he had to jump over, I think he's getting a little more cautious on those inside pitches because he's swinging at pitches he usually wouldn't swing at. I think it's just a defense thing. It's the fight or flight kicking in, and he's just wanting to get out of his way. So it's a 1-2 count, 1 out. Runner on second base. Here's the pitch outside, 2-2. Caden Cloud will advance to third as it gets past the catcher. Now there's a runner 90 feet away with 1 out.
This is the kind of decisions, this is not really necessarily Wallace's fault that he gets a walk, and then 3 pitches later, the runners advance. Now, that pitch was a little bit more outside than that first one, so maybe that one goes down as a wild pitch, but just the past balls and really just the instances where John Gonzalez Suarez just hasn't done enough here.
That one swung on and fouled down the third baseline. We're going to do the 2-2 again. Tanner Grant sits on deck, waiting for his opportunity to hopefully add to his monstrous RBI game.
The Eagles did have 2 pitchers warming up in that bullpen, but they've sat both of them down.
That ball is lifted to left field. Center fielder going back. That's Holland. He makes the catch. Cloud kind of jogs just for the tag up, but he'll get in. That'll be an RBI sac fly for Reese Sternberger, and the base will be cleared for Tanner Grant as the Eagles now lead 12-0.
Kind of something like that. That ball is out more than likely at Eagles Stadium, probably even Republic too. That ball hit just roughly maybe about 360 towards that left field side. So he kind of mentioned those types of things. That ball was hammered, but just kind of kept hanging up there and just landed right in front of that warning track. Center fielder was able to make a nice little catch out in left center as well.
0-1 turns into 0-2. So that's an 0-2 count. 2 outs here for Tanner Grant. Bottom of the third inning, 12-0 to score. Nixa Eagles lead. Here's the pitch. Outside, 1-2.
First time we've really seen Wallace get ahead in a count with a chance to end an inning, and the last time we saw that, the bases were loaded and it cost an error, as that one's going to be a ground ball. Second baseman gets under it, fires to first, and is able to retire Nixa, but they put up 3 more here in this inning, and off of 10 hits, they hold a 12-0 lead here against the Central Bulldogs. We'll head to the 4th. We'll be right back.
So the right fielder Hart will walk into the right-hand batter's box here to start off the 4th inning. Peyton Lemon on the mound here for the Eagles. First pitch for him swung on for strike number 1, 0-1 count.
Hart hit by pitch in that first inning. He was one of only 2 base runners to reach when Ethan Taylor was on the mound. And for so far for the Bulldogs, 1 hit through the 3 innings, and the Eagles just really have put this game out of reach. And Peyton Lemon on the mound here to try to finish the last, probably at least this inning off, as that one pops off of Jack Edwards' glove, but nothing's going to be doing as Lemon isn't even able to get that one in the mound, so they'll have Ussery kind of help him out there at second base, and it'll be a 1-2 count. So it'll be Hart, Victor Edwards, and Zach Cannon at the plate.
That one swung on for strike number 3, and Peyton Lemon gets a strikeout to start off his time on the mound.
It's really been the strikeout in that outside corner that's been able to really just drive the Bulldogs here. They haven't, it seems like it's been more of a driving towards the ground. They just haven't been able to get that outside pitch, and it's being called a strike. So you have to swing at those, as that one's high but fouled off, and foul tipped on that one. So it'll be a 0-1 count now to Victor Edwards, who flew out in his first at-bat here of this game. Six strikeouts from the Bulldogs here to represent their 10 outs. So when you're striking out 60% of the time, that's really not a recipe for success here, especially when they've been able to, when they have been able to put runners on base, they haven't been able to capitalize, as that one touches that inside top corner. So it'll even the count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes for Peyton Lemon against the third baseman, Victor Edwards. And the 2-2 is in, and that one's way over. Just kind of slipped there. Lemon says that's my bad. It just, the release point wasn't perfect on that one. It went behind Everts in the batter's box. Luckily it didn't hit him or even anything worse than that, but it'll be a 3-2 count now. Lemon gets set, kicks, and fires, and that one's going to be lined. That one's going to drop right in front of the left fielder and right fielder. Michelle kind of bobbles it, and they kind of hung up the runner. They fire over to first base, but he kind of took a little bit off there, but nothing's going to be doing. So Everett will have himself a single. Lots of kind of just mini drama there. It didn't really seem like Wyatt Vincent and Rylan Michelle were really communicating all that well as to who was going to grab that one. Looked like it was in Rylan's glove, and then Vincent kind of came over, knocked it out of the glove when he was running by. So that kind of caused some different things, and then that made Everett think from first base that he could reach second on that, and nearly got tagged out because Rylan ended up making the throw into Colin, who then fired it over. So it'll be a 1-0 count, and that one's inside for a ball. So for the Bulldogs, already 2 hits, one hit so far in this inning. They have Everts at first base with 1 out for Zach Cannon, the shortstop, who walked in his first plate appearance.
3-0 count to him with 1 out, 1 runner on. Here in the top of the 4th inning, Nixa leads 12-0. Peyton Lemon with the pitch. In there for strike 1, 3-1 count.
One's just a bit high, so the 3-1 pitch to Cannon will be a walk. He'll advance with a walk that second time, so plate discipline a big thing for him. And so for Peyton Lemon, he's got runners at first and second with 1 out. Bulldogs just trying to get on the board here and at least make this game last a little bit longer. So Brody Holland, the center fielder, he struck out in his first plate appearance, one of 6 strikeouts for the Bulldogs so far, and Lemon fires that one inside for a strike. Holland didn't like the call there, but it'll be an 0-1 count. 1 out here in the inning. Victor Everts, the third baseman, on second. Zach Cannon at first here for the Bulldogs in the top of the 4th inning.
That one swung on, lifted to right field, right center field. Wyatt Vincent's is going to let it drop. He didn't let it drop, but it does drop. Here's a runner at home, throwing to second base, not in time. So that's going to be a double. That's going to be the first run scored here by the Central Bulldogs. And now there's a runner on second and third with 1 out.
Took a really weird hop. It landed in that area. They're playing really shallow, and for Vincent playing straight away center, he had to come over a really long ways to get to right field there. So that one kind of just fell in. It bounced and then took a weird hop after what I assume was Wyatt Vincent's kneecap, And after it went off the kneecap off the bounce, it rolled a little bit more, and that kind of forced Nurnberger to come over the right fielder to try to make a close throw to the second baseman. Well, he wasn't able to do anything. So Holland is at second, Zach Cannon at third, and he gets the strike there to make it a 1-1 count with 1 out for the DH, Diego Jimenez. Eagles would now have to score 4 runs in the 4th inning, assuming if the Bulldogs don't put up any more to take a 15-0 game. As that one swung on a miss, and they got the runner tagged up between second and third. They're going to try to outrun him. This is stuck in a pickle here, and they get the runner out. And so just tough base running there from Zach Cannon, but he's tagged out. And so with 2 outs in the inning, he was just kept slacking. Nice job there by the Eagles defense, though, to kind of just maneuver something over and move some guys and just try to help out on that play. But Edwards is able to track him down. So 2 outs now in the inning. Jimenez has himself a 1-2 count, and now it's Brody Holland at second base. Peyton Lemon trying to get out of this inning, and he swings and misses. Ball hits the dirt. They're going to fire it to first base. Grant makes the throw, and that will be the 7th K of the game for the Bulldogs. But they do scratch one here in the 4th inning off 2 hits. They trail 12-1 here. We'll be right back.
We're back here. Nate Huber at the plate. Aiden Wallace still on the mound here for the Bulldogs. First pitch to Huber's outside as the temperature starts to drop. Wind's starting to blow into the field as I'm getting kind of cold.
Yeah, and that just kind of shows you the type of power this Eagles team has had. They've been able to drive some of these balls out as that one swung on a miss from Uber to even the count at 1-1 here. But the wind has kind of been blowing in all day. It's kind of just now picked up a little bit more to the left side and in. So whenever a right-handed hitter here comes up, he's going to really have to drive one towards the center of the field to try to get it over. Foul line's not very much there, and Uber swings and misses at that one to make it a 1-2 count. As you mentioned, Aiden Wallace still in this game, looking for his first big strikeout chance here. That one's low for a ball to even the count now. It'll be Uber, Mabe, and then Colin Ussery, 7, 8, 9 in this Eagles lineup. They'll be each batting for the 3rd time here. Uber 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch, and he sends that one high. That one's going to not stay. It's going to drop in the Eagles bullpen. Looks like that one was going to stay in play, but as I mentioned, the wind picking up towards the in and left side. And so that one will drop foul, and we'll do the 2-2 again here. Uber readjusting his batting gloves. Steps back in, and the lefty Wallace here has had kind of a tough inning, but he gets a run back, so we'll see what happens as he tries to curve that one in for a strike, but it's outside for a ball, so Uber will have himself another full count here. As I mentioned, no strikeouts for Wallace so far through the first 9 outs. And the 3-2 to Uber is going to be outside, so Uber is able to draw himself a walk and avoid the K. And so it'll bring up Broden Mabe now. He's 1 for 2 in this one, reaching on that error. And so now he'll come up here with a runner at first base for the Eagles. Again, the Eagles would need to score 4 runs in this inning. They're going to want to send us home an inning early. If not, we will play a 5th inning. They're up 12-1 at the moment.
That one's swung on ground at the shortstop and third baseman. That's going to be a single for Brother May. I think that's a single as they both give a full diving effort to that ball. So now there's 2 runners on here for Colin Usry, the 9-hole hitter, with 0 outs. Like you mentioned, Eagles need 4, and if Colin Usry can get on here and load the bases for Wyatt Vincent, that'd be a great opportunity as the manager for Bulldogs going to come out. It's just going to be and we will, the right fielder here, it's going to be Hart for the Bulldogs, who's going to come in to pitch. That's what it seems like, is they're going to switch out. So Walls go to right field, Hart will come to pitch. So while Hart is warming up, we're going to step aside here. Eagles lead 12-1, 2 runners on here for Colin Usry. Bottom of the 4th inning.
Usry coming up here. He's 0 for 2 so far in this game, looking to get a hit. 7 out of the 9 Eagles hitters have been able to get hits so far. Usry, the only one. Usry, the only one not to reach base, and he's got a good chance here. Runners at first and second, nobody out for the new pitcher, Rowan Hart, as that one's going to be up and away for a ball to make it a 1-0 count.
Designated hitter Nate Huber at second base. Rowan Mabe at first. Colin Usry at the plate. Wyatt Vincent on deck. 0 outs, 1-0 count. New pitcher Hart. 1 pitch in, 1 ball. He gets set. Takes a glance back. Couple glances. Here's the dish to the plate. Ball high, 2-0 count.
So the final line for Aiden Wallace that I have, so he pitched the 3 innings, 3+. He gave up 11 hits, 2 walks, and then I gave him credit for 8 of the runs. So 8 runs earned, 12 total. The 4 errors certainly helped as Usry isn't able to get enough on that one. So it'll be a 2-1 count. He swings and misses there. Wyatt Vincent on deck, who, if Ussery could get himself in, would represent the winning run here. Usually they're up 12-1, but if they want to get this game over with in 4 as opposed to 5, they need to score 4. So Ussery waits for the 2-1. He gets it and swings and misses yet once again to make it a 2-2 count. Bulldogs still looking for their first team strikeout of the day, and it's been kind of just these tough situations where the Eagles haven't really drawn out counts. There's only been 2 walks so far, but really that's just been the fact that they've been able to make really solid contact early on.
So 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. Swung on, strike 3. So that's 1 down here, and that brings up Wyatt Vincent for 2 runners on and 1 out. Here in the bottom of the 4th inning, 12-1 to score. Nixa has 12 runs on 11 hits and 4 errors from the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs have 1 run on 3 hits. So runners on first and second. Hart gets set. Here's the pitch. In there for strike 1. 0-1 count.
Vincent elected not to swing at that one. That one was kind of an inside-outside pitch. Just kind of moved around a little bit. Was able to find the bottom part of that inside corner. Vincent just didn't really necessarily want to reach for that one. Getting a little bit more selective, especially with runners at first and second. 1 for 3 on the day so far.
0-1 pitch outside for ball number 1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Eagles scored 6 in the first inning, 2 in the second, and then another 2 in the third to take their 12-1 lead. And they've kind of been lucky in some spots, but really it's just been the power hitting. They've had 5 of those runs come off of 2 home runs as Vincent lines yet another one straight down the middle, and the Eagles will score 1. They're going to hold the runner at third base, and Vincent will have himself his second single right down the middle between the second and shortstop of the day. 2 for 4 now. And so the Eagles will take a 13-1 lead here, and Vincent at first base represents the winning run for Ryland Michelle, who already has a home run in this game, and so far is a single away from the cycle. He had a double in the first, a triple in the second, and a home run in the third. So again, cycle watch here in the 4th inning.
Here's the pitch, high, ball 1. And if you're hard, did your life flash before your eyes on that hit from Vincent? That was right up the middle, and that bat speed was crazy. That, I guarantee you, my whole life flashed before his eyes. That was ridiculous. So 13-1's the score. Runners at the corners. Here's the pitch to Michelle. He swung for strike number 1, 1-1 count.
That pitch just kind of curved inside and then flipped on the outside. Kind of curved out to where, had he been able to recognize it as a curveball, probably wouldn't have swung, but he's been throwing heaters so far, and to your credit, that's why Wyatt Vincent's ball was such drilled, is because it's coming at him fast, and it comes out even faster off his bat. That one's inside to make it a 2-1 count.
So 2-1, 1 out. Runners at the corners, 13-1's the score here, bottom of the 4th inning. Here's the pitch. In there for strike number 2, 2-2 count.
Up in the zone, so Hart has kind of been just messing around with anything that can work so far. He's kind of just been bouncing the ball where we can put it. If this game does continue, we'd expect Elijah Adams to come in for the 5th inning for Nixa, but the Eagles would probably like to keep his arm for tomorrow.
That one swung on, lifted foul back. Go right in the stands. Fell a couple rows in front of the fan trying to catch it. It's a 2-2 count. 1 out. What do you think if there's a ball coming at you, you don't know how to catch it, what do you do? Do you try to catch it, or do you just go into a ball like that person did? Because
I think when you realize it's coming, I mean, it landed about a seat in front of her. She was pretty terrified, so she kind of just put her hands over her head. That's probably the default setting, because that one's just kind of fouled back on the back end. They're going to call that one. Yeah, they're going to say that was a foul ball. Kind of seemed like the umpire reacted a bit indifferent, but that one just kind of fouled back on the back end of the knob of the bat there. Probably more of a safety squeeze swing. He's playing very crowded on that first on the plate, and he gets ready for the 2-2 from Rowan Hart.
Here's the pitch outside, 3-2. So full count here, runners on the corners, 1 out. Riley Michelle at the plate. He's had himself a day. A double, a triple, a home run. Like you mentioned, a single away from the cycle. 2-2, 3-2, 1 out. Runners at the corners. Here's the pitch. Swung on, lifted, foul territory, and the first baseman, Burns, makes the catch for out number 2. And Riley Michelle walks back to the dugout. And that brings up Caden Cloud with 2 runners on.
They really just dug him in on the inside pitches. It was kind of just a little bit of a rough time. Just like they were just trying to hammer him in there. And you might see some more of that from opposing teams here, as those inside pitches, it seems like the Eagles have been able to really respond to. Some of these hitters have kind of had more safety squeeze swings here, and with 2 outs in the inning, Caden Cloud's got another chance here. He's 1 for 2 on the day with a ground out and a walk. Has 1 for 2 RBIs and even had a stolen base. So he's showed himself all over the box score here. Of course, the Eagles have put up a really crooked 13 runs through 4 innings, so pretty much everyone making a difference so far as that one. Cloud kind of has to get away from there, so it'll be a 2-0 count.
2-0 count, 2 outs. Runners at the corner, Mabe at third, Vincent at first. Caden Cloud at the plate. Hart with the pitch. Inside, 3-0.
That one curved. It looked like it was going to be a ball just the whole way, and curved and made it really close there. And you know, those are the kind of pitches that, you know, Ryland was trying to swing at earlier and just kind of would foul him off and had that weak contact towards the foul base side. But Hart doing a good job getting contact.
That one's high for ball 4, and that will load the bases for, oh my gosh, Jack Edwards. The bases will be loaded for Jack Edwards. Leads the team in RBIs. He was second in RBIs last season behind Jarrett Nelson, who's having himself a beautiful season at Forest Scott Community College. So Edwards walks into the right-hand batter box with the bases juiced, like I mentioned. Mabe at third, Vincent at second, Cloud at first. Bases loaded, 2 outs.
Edwards 2 for 3 on the game with a single and a double, has an RBI credit. Now he's looking for the chance here in the 4th inning with his 4th plate appearance. You don't see that very often, batting 4 times in 4 innings, but he's done a good job here. So he watches that one go high for a ball to make it a 1-0 count. Bases loaded here. Runner at first base is the winning run for the Eagles.
Hart gets set. Here's the pitch. Outside, 2-0. Like you mentioned, winning run at first base.
Nowhere to put Broden Mabe.
And the speed on these base paths right now is ridiculous. Actually, if you put anybody in the lineup on the first base path, it's going to be Speedy, because this team is such a fast team. As Jack Edwards is at the plate, 3-0 count. Bases loaded, 3-0. Here's the pitch. Inside, ball 4, and that will walk in a run, and Nixa improves their lead to 14-1. Now the winning run is at second base now.
So Reese Dernberger will have himself a chance here.
One will be Josiah Jenkins now. He comes in to pinch hit.
So then they'll bring in, I'm assuming, Parker Mann to run. So they're kind of moving in. Hughes is kind of giving umpire the card, and we're going to have a manager's visit as well here. Might be trying to move in somebody else, but we'll figure it out as he's going to bring in everybody, including the catcher. Just one thing, you know, Jenkins doesn't get a whole lot of plate appearances, but he's been able to make it count in these kind of blowout type of games. Against Marshfield, he was able to put some really nice contact on the baseball. And so he's probably waiting and expecting here, I'm assuming, and I'm pretty sure that's Parker Mann at first base there for Jack Edwards. As the manager for him comes in, and it looks like they're telling him to kind of play back, and now they're even, so it looks like the manager was even telling the outfielders to pull in. So each of the infielders take about 4 or 5 steps closer in with 2 outs than the inning. Eagles up 14-1 here off of 12 hits. They've scored 2 in the 4th inning. Central 1 run off of 3 hits and 4 runs, and the Eagles have a chance to win it here with 2 outs in the 4th inning. They just need to score 2 here. That runner at second base.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. Josiah Jenkins at the plate. 14-1's the score. Here's the pitch. Inside, ball 1.
Vincent at third, Cloud at second, then Parker and Mann at first, but Mann doesn't necessarily matter here because if they score the 2 runs, this game is over.
That one swung on lift down the third base line. Here's a throw to first base. In time for the out, and the Bulldogs get out of the bases loaded jam here in the bottom of the 4th inning. So Nixa scores 2, makes it 14-1, and we're going to have to play a 5th inning. If they can get 3 outs here without giving up 4 runs, they can walk away with this game early. We're step aside, we'll be right back. Elijah Adams on the mound here for the Eagles. First pitch from him is going to be in there for strike number 1. We haven't really seen him much lately. I'm glad to see him back on the mound. Wait, what? It's an 0-1 count. The scoreboard says 1-0. That was a call to strike. So 0-1 pitch, swung on, strike 2. 0-2 pitch.
Nixa pitcher's been able to really get swings and misses here from the Bulldogs. That one's just mercifully fouled back. Nice little snag, though, by the batter on deck. Diego Jimenez, Nick Thompson, the left fielder on deck.
That one swung on for strike 3, and Elijah Adams gets a 3-pitch strikeout to start out his outing here on the mound. And now the Central Bulldogs are down to their last 2. Nope. Yes, down to the last 2 outs.
8 strikeouts here when you consider, the 13 outs. When you're striking out at that type of clip, you really never really had a chance, even with Nixa's offense being as destructive as it's been so far. But, just 8 strikeouts just is not going to get you anywhere, as that one pops out of Edwards' glove and is a bit high, so I'll make it a 2-0 count. John Gonzalez, the catcher in the 9 spot, gets his chance here, and he swings and misses at a pitch on the outside corner for a strike. So 2-1 count here. Top of the lineup, Barrett Burns will be Central's last hope on deck.
That one swung on for strike 2, now it's a 2-2 count.
If Gonzalez can keep this game alive.
2-2, here's the pitch from Adams. Curveball in there for strike 3. Gets past, Jack Edwards got the throw down. He will, in time for out number 2 and 2 strikeouts from Elijah Adams.
Doing what he can do so far. And the 4 pitchers here for the Eagles have really just given themselves a chance to be successful in this game. Obviously, with only 1 run, is Ozark and Joplin waiting to get this game started. This game's ended a lot sooner than some people hoped. We started this game 4:30, and we're just getting to that point as that one's called a strike to Barrett Burns. He's trying to avoid his 3rd strikeout of the game, 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts in the 1st and 3rd inning. And the 0-1 to Adams is high for a ball to even the count now. Eagles, like I mentioned, presumably will play the winner of Ozark-Joplin coming up, the 3 and the 6 seed matchup in Class 6, as that one's fouled back. And it'll be an 0-2 count, which means the Bulldogs are down to their final strike of their season here. Eagles with a win would play tomorrow, scheduled for, I believe, 6:30. We'll keep you posted on that one. As Adams gets set for the 1-2 and check swing, but they're going to say he didn't go around, so it'll be ball. So it'll be a 2-2 count now with 2 outs in the inning.
Adams gets set. 2-2. 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Did he go? No, he didn't. Full count. Checked the umpire just in case. I think someone wanted that. But umpire says he didn't. Wait, what? Wasn't that?
That was only 3.
I'm so confused.
That was only 3 pitches. It's a 3-2 count.
Hughes isn't arguing anything.
It's a 3-2 count. It's a 3-2 count.
Hughes is calling time. What's happening?
It's a 3-2 count, but they just let the runner advance.
So it's an 0-1 count. Hughes kind of like put his arm up and then fell the back. So 0-1 count, runner on first base. Kind of confused there as that one swung on foul back. 0-2 now. And the Bulldogs are down to their last strike once again.
Only because Adams is charged with it's a really weird play. It was a 3-2 count, but nevertheless, 0-2 here. Adams, runner on first base, not concerned about it though.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped out of play. We're going to do that again.
That one makes a loud sound. It goes over the seats and into the aluminum over there. So that'll be an 0-2 once again here for Nathan Eisenrat.
0-2 count. Swung on grounder right back to Elijah Adams. He's going to make the play in time for round number 3. And the Eagles knock off the Central Bulldogs here to advance to the semifinals of the Class 6 District 6 tournament. They're going to take on the winner of Ozark and Joplin, which is going to come up next. The Eagles went 14-1 off 12 hits. And the Eagles are hot, all smiles in their dugout. And we want to... What did you take out of this game?
Well, first of all, it's been a really good season for the Bulldogs. We wish them luck next year. Obviously not the way they wanted to end their season in defeat, but they fought admirably until the very end. And just something to keep in mind is this Eagles offense, it gets more difficult. You're not going to see as many inside pitches the next time around. Ozark's been waiting. Joplin's been waiting. They've kind of noticed some things about this game. And for the Eagles tomorrow, just trying to keep the momentum, keep the drive moving. Only a couple times did they not really bat through it. They have at least 8 batters in an inning. The least they had is 5 batters. So they were really able to put runs on the board when it mattered. Obviously 6 in the first, 3 in the second and the third, and then 2 in the fourth to win this one 14-1. But if they're going to want to keep the bats moving, they're going to have to feel as confident as they did today, as they're going to wait for a district second round here tomorrow. Could be a rematch of Ozark. Both teams have played. We played them on the road in Joplin and played Ozark at home. Both were wins on that one. But for Central, it was a good season. Not the way, like I said, they wanted to end it, but we wish them the best travels back home.
So, Nixa wins 14-1 as they advance to the semifinals of the Class 6 District 6 Championship. And this is where it starts to get scary. They looked, like I mentioned, they always have to treat every game like a big game, but with Ozark coming up,